Hello, beloved ones. Khaumutseme here. As always, it's my pleasure to be here with you all. Letting go of the past. For today. And it seems I'm going to be having a problem again. Nope. Oh. If you are open to join me, there's a link. You can just join and we can have a conversation. That's truly what this call is about. Because if we can hold space together and share some ideas together, share how we are, how we're holding on during this intense time, then it makes it easier for each and every one of us. It seems I'm having a bit of a challenge with removing the the cover as I had previously. So I have to figure out how I can let go of this. Letting go of the past. I would like us to have a conversation when that comes, when you hear this word, what is coming through for you? What is it that you're thinking of? What is it that you're still holding on from the past that doesn't serve you? And before we can just continue, while I'm still waiting to figure out how I can take out this, I would like to remind you of our mutual agreements that you are powerful, whole, and truth teller. You tell yourself the truth, you tell others people the truth, and you are the person who takes action, action takers. And as we're stepping into this conversation here, you're just showing up in your wholeness, and whatever that is coming through, I trust that you have the capacity to really deal with it, and you'd know what action to take or from whatever that came through. And even when we're sharing and ideas are coming through, you'd know what to do with it. But we're just here to hold space for each other. Christina, there is a link where you can just click in and then join the StreamYard, because the intention of this truly is for us to be able to have a conversation and just share openly where we at, what is happening, and just go through the process that will be called to take us through. Like I said, it's letting go of the past and the rituals that we can use to let go of the past, you know, and just different processes that comes to mind. I might share what I know, you might share what you know. So that is the intention behind this. There is a link that I posted in there, I think separately. I think I can share it below too. Let me just put it here. I can share it here too. Yes. I'm still trying to take out this cover page or whatever. I managed last time. But it seems like I don't know how to do it clearly. But it would be nice if we just jump in and we can have a conversation, because that's what this thing is all about, truly. That's what this is all about. Oh, there we go. Oh my God. There we go. Yeah. So those are just reminders to say you are whole, you are powerful. That's how I see you. And truth teller, which means when we show up, we're just gonna share the truth that comes from our heart, as in like where we at. So while we're still waiting for Christina to jump in if she chooses to, I would like you to just let go of whatever that happened, whatever that you're doing, and just anchor in your body. Just embracing the time that you're here, connecting with your body, feeling whatever sensations that your body is just sharing with you, and also tapping into just those words, letting go of the past. What is it that comes to your mind when you just hear that? What is it that you're still holding into? That you feel it is time for you to let go of. Hi, beautiful.
Hello.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. Thank you.
Nice to join you.
I love that deep voice. What is going on? It's been a while since we had a conversation, but I feel there is richness in your voice when you're speaking.
Really?
I'm
Wow.
serious. Yeah, there is, which is amazing. I can feel it in my tummy when you're just speaking. It's just like, yeah, that's
Serious?
amazing.
Wow. Yeah, like lots has happened since we last spoke.
Yeah, and that's
Lots.
that's beautiful. Yeah, and as I just said, because the purpose of this is just for us to really meet and share where we at, which is like I said, just for you to anchor. And I just love that. Like I said, I can feel your voice really in the gut, like it's coming from your tummy, which is like it's a beautiful thing. So when you just anchor in that and just feel your body and just let go of everything and just feel like we're just sitting in one place holding each other.
Shut that
Oh,
door. So no
okay.
one's hearing me. Right. Settle, actually. Cool. I can set this nicely so I can relax. Hmm. Right. We're going to have to do that like that. Right. Okay. Good.
Okay. And just imagine we're just holding each other's hand, as
That would be
because
nice.
really the whole space, time, whatever, we are working with the energies that transcend the whole space and time and all that. So you can just imagine that we are holding each other's hand and we're just holding space for each other. And those who may watch this or those who may join later, so we just embrace and also just give ourselves that hug and appreciation for just showing up for ourselves, because that's what we're doing in this now moment. To say I'm just gonna take my time and connect with other women and connect with myself as well. So this just anchor in our body and call forth our energy from wherever that we might have, whatever that we've been worried about, whatever that you've been thinking of, just call it back. And just take a deep breath. Yeah. And we'll just start checking in with you, just like in summary, you can share how you feeling, or if you want me to start, I'm free to just share with you what has been happening, or where I'm at, which is also one of the things that inspired the topic of letting go of the past. So I can start and just share with you. Then after I share with you, you can maybe comment on what I shared, and then you share with me what you share with me, and then I comment on what you shared to say what did I take from it, whether it's for me or it's for you, because the purpose of the circle is just to hold space for each other.
Mm-hmm.
So letting go of the past. um I mean, I was influenced by that. I'm not saying you should tap into that, but however you just see yourself led. But somehow it's one of the things that I feel this is where I'm at, and it's quite an interesting journey that I find myself that I find myself in, because the past that I'm kind of like dealing on is kind of something that has been going on for many years. And I wouldn't say it's something that has not been dealt with. It has been dealt with, but it's kind of like I see a new layer that comes through. And why? Because I got triggered, was it on Sunday or something like that? And it really took me deep. And I realized that, okay, fine, because there is an aspect of mine, not where I'm at, but an aspect of mine that dealt with a lot of issues back then, that kind of like showed up with resentment, to say, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. This has been going on for a long time, and all that, and kind of like feeling sort of different kind of energies coming through, of victim, of not being respected, of like there was kind of like accountability and responsibility that is showing up. And as we know it, that at the same time, most of these things that show up, it's also reflecting on what is inside us, right? But the aspect that was coming through is kind of like an aspect which is not who I am, but an aspect that kind of like went through this. And there was a whole lot of resentment, to say, I don't want to deal with this. So I found myself in a situation where I don't want to deal with this. Kind of like, it's too much. There was overwhelm. It's too much. It has been going on for long. I don't know. There was just kind of like all of that way. A part of me felt like I would rather find something to deal with, but I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel. It's too painful. But whatever time that I gave myself, whether it was 2 minutes or 5 minutes, whenever I just sat with myself and tapped in, tears would just start coming, because there was just a lot of sadness. There was just a lot of emotions that was coming through. And I was even aware that this is not even, like I said, it was a trigger which showed me what is within me. And truly, how I described it, I felt like a scab has been removed from my wound, and the wound started bleeding again. That's how I just felt about it. And I have been aware. This is why I'm bringing in to share it with the community, because I know what to do. I'll sit and just know that, like, okay, I have to do something. Like, I want to do something about it. As in, like, those rituals that I'm talking about, that we're going to discuss, to say, I want to do something to sort of like release this. As you know, we've worked together before. But I know what to do, but I didn't want to do it. You understand? And so there has been that conflict that has been going on, to say, okay, fine, I got to do that. And kind of like looking at it like, yeah, but I'm not bringing myself to do it. And it was more calling me to be present with myself, which at the same time, I kind of like honored both aspects, where I allowed myself to be that child who is throwing a tantrum for something like 2 days. And I'm kind of like stepping out of it, to say, I am ready now to take action on it. So I don't know if that makes sense, because I'm just trying to sort of sum it for you, what has been going on, which has been grief, sadness, heartache, truly heartache, because I could feel as well, because of the way I wanted to deal with it, was kind of like, I don't want to deal with it, which is a way that I dealt with my issues back then, like many years ago. I didn't want to deal with things. I had to sort of like throw it at the back and pretend that everything is okay, So I saw that aspect coming through, and wanting to do that, and it caused me a lot of body pains, like my chest, my heart. There was just like pain that I am aware that I can't breathe, and it's because I was numbing myself. I didn't want to feel. And at the same time, there was death, kind of like this other aspect was is dying, that used to deal with these things this way. And the question is, do I allow it to die, or I kind of like hold into it, and just, that kind of like stubborn child pouting, and that kind of thing. So that's what I've been going through. Yeah, exactly. And holding into the pain and the suffering, as if there's gonna be a medal at the end of life or whatever to say you're gonna win something if you can show how other people treated you. And there was still really, it was quite interesting to even observe a part of me that is like, I'm aware of my higher perspective as like my higher self, but this lower aspect part of myself is kind of like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to be there. I don't want to look at things that way. I want to look at these things from this lower vibration thing where I can just say, you are wrong. You did this to me. Da, 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 da. I felt righteousness. I felt that righteousness energy that was really coming through, and even some anger that I've never felt in a long time, but it was just there. And at the same time, I felt exhausted by just the whole shit that keeps coming up in life. It's kind of like, and it was very intense. And I've seen it happen even before the Lionsgate, which will tap into that. But I just wanna stop there, and you'll share with me what you heard me say, if at all there is something that you want to talk about from what I shared, and then you'll share with me where you at.
Well, I heard you say that something I recognize very strongly for myself is like first of all, something coming up in the course of doing something difficult or doing something has something happening to you in life that you, where you feel emotions that they're just overwhelming, and you decide just to go, okay, well, that's too much, I'm just going to go and pretend it's fine. That's just something which is so easy to do, and I've done it many times.
Yeah.
In my own but you're also looking at it within this context of going, well, I know I have the choice of being in that, and you're also looking at it with the awareness of that you've got the choice, and going, oh, actually, you know what? It just makes me so cross. I'm so angry. I feel like I need to feel the anger, and I need to express it, and I just want to jump up and down and shout, scream, and tell everybody they're horrible.
Yeah.
Maybe that's, and like, it's all very easy to just go, okay, right. It's very good to have a higher perspective on it, but sometimes I think you just need to feel things.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, I mean, but the thing is, well, with my healing, I suppose that getting better at dealing with stuff, like, but I know there's big stuff that I haven't dealt with still, and that I haven't dug up, precisely because there's so much emotion and so much grief and anger and stuff. So yeah, but like, it's a choice, knowing you have a choice, like whether you can sit there or whether you have to move through it, because you don't actually have to move through it. Sorry, I'm gonna have to plug my phone back in. You could just sit there. And what are
you going through that you feel you'd like us to hold space for right now? Is it like, do you feel like called to the letting go of the past, or there is something else that has been coming through for you, something that you're just processing?
At the moment, I have realized I'm coming up with the reasons that I have felt rejected by people, and I kind of discovered what it was, and I actually have like this, I dismiss morals. I do. I had this way of thinking outside the box that just goes, yeah, but like I know that people do that, but actually I know that that doesn't matter. And like I have outraged people by going, well, yeah, that doesn't matter. Like I break the rules all the time. And I have not actually realized, because it was part of me, and because I thought that that was normal, I didn't realize that it was problematic for other people. So I've just realized one of the reasons that I felt so like rejected and put upon and victimized, because I've got disregard for more, like disregard for how things are done by people. And I've always had that since I was like tiny. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, there was some noise, but it's okay now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also the reason why I've just realized that I can see where humanity is going and what's important for moving forward. So it's kind of like stepping into another way of looking at that and going, okay, I have a disregard for morals, but it's okay. And I just need to be a bit sympathetic with other people when they react to my disregard for them and the way they do things. So, yeah. Yeah, because
yeah, that's kind of like that's an interesting, it's an interesting thing, which as always I say, we are the pillar, you know. If you, in terms of what is done or how it is done out there, because I believe within us we also have that sort of like that measuring or navigation thing within us, in terms of, does this feel right, you know, would I be okay if it's done to me, you know, which also calls us to say, if I wouldn't want someone to do it to me, I wouldn't want to do it to somebody else, you know. And most of the times, even when you talk some of the things, when you say, you know, like the right and wrong and all that, it most of the times it comes to that, whether it's indoctrination or whatever. Therefore we are judging based on something, you know. Even when you say you're not supposed to do that, according to who? You know, when you tap in within you, you will realize that, oh, that's my mom, that's my dad, or is a society, whatever, you know, it's coming from somewhere. When you check in the history, which is like whatever that the mind is storing, you realize that the whole thing is coming from somewhere. But when you are present and you are able to tap in where you're at, because even some of the things is quite interesting, because I would say some of the things, as we evolve or as we grow, we outgrow certain things, right? So you realize that something that you were truly in agreement with and you felt this was the right thing to do 5 years ago, you have outgrown it, and right now you're kind of like looking at it differently, and it's kind of like, I don't know why I was doing that. You know, I don't feel called to do this. I don't like doing this. You know, I'll just compare it with whether it's drinking, smoking, climbing, whatever. You know, the more you start connecting with yourself, the more you realize that there are certain things that you kind of like, that's not for me, you know. So you realize the whole thing of this is right, it's kind of like it's based on this right now moment. Tomorrow you might wake up and realize that even the smell, I remember a week ago or something like that, I had this thing where, if at all, I would have thought maybe I was pregnant or something, because I was feeling nauseous and all that. There was just like some smells that were just hitting on me. And I was just like, what is going on? It's kind of like there's something that was just going where certain things where I was just not aligning with some smell of food. Even something will just start smelling out of the blue, where I kind of like feel like, this is not, something that I'm not in alignment with. And before we can continue, there is something that I just want to sort of like, there is something that you mentioned when you're speaking, to say there is a lot that is going on. There is a lot that you haven't dug up and all that. And as you just say that, what just came through, I just want to just put it out there to say it's not even about digging up anything. This is why I love talking about, like, for instance, when you show up here, let me say, you're going to have a session, right? And you prepare in your mind to say, okay, fine, I want to talk about that. And the moment you just show up, a different idea shows up. And that's what is here, right now, right? So it's what is showing up. So when we stay present with and keep on creating, let me just say right now, the energy that you're holding is to say, okay, I want to maybe make 5,000 pounds, euro, dollars, whatever. And you tap into the present right now. What will come through? It's what is in between you and creating that, right? Or I'm tired of people rejecting me. I'm tired of people abandoning me, or whatever that is coming through. And you choose what you want, which is kind of like, because the more you step up, which is like, even this is why, even when I speak about layers, like we release in layers, like even the healing is kind of like there's different layers that kind of like shows up, you know I when I look at the issue that I'm dealing with right here, right now, and the issue, and when it started, which is like 9 years ago, the person that was dealing with that issue, like kind of like around children and stuff, I'm not the person who was, because by then there was a part of me that didn't know who I was. There was a part of me that was like more in fear and felt powerless and really angry with a lot of stuff, which is like authorities, men, and all that. But there's kind of like another layer that shows up now, but it's more really deep, and it's more in alignment with even me releasing an idea of who, or of how I want other people to be, and at the same time more stepping into creating my own boundaries. It's kind of like it's more or less connected, but it's a different thing altogether. So if I was if I'm looking at it and kind of like holding into, oh, this is like the same thing, I'm gonna go back and kind of like recreate the same thing because that's how I want to see it. But if I step here and just say, okay, fine, here I am. But like I say, this video that I did, and I said sometimes it's kind of like the universe is coming through and teasing you and say, okay, would you like to have this? And this is what I feel is happening right now. And at times it happens even in relationships where you date someone, and then after dating this person, it kind of like things don't work out, and like, I'm fed up with men who are whatever ABC, and you move on and you are open to date again, and the same kind of person but with different names shows up, and it's kind of like, do you really want this? So if you kind of like defined yourself as someone who is attracted by maybe tall, cute guys who are muscular and all that, that's what calls you. Like, you're just gonna look at that and say, I love this guy. That's like the kind of people that I want to fall in love with, and you're gonna get that, but is it what you really want, or you want someone who truly, with an open heart, who just love you, who is authentic, and what do you really want, which at times we just look, we just mention something and we identify with that, but the universe will come on and just hand that to us until we just get really clear to say, you know what, this does not serve me anymore. So at times you realize that even the pain that we go through is because of our lack of clarity of what we really want, because it's just like the same thing of saying, I want someone who is loving and open-hearted and whatever that you call it, someone who is also faithful in a relationship, and then you go and date someone who still has a partner or something like that, and kind of like, I'll just keep on with this guy until maybe someone comes through. No, the fact that you have chosen to be with someone who's not fully available, that's you telling the universe that I can settle with this, you know. So this is what I'm calling forth, because what you say you want and what the action that you're taking or what you are receiving is not in alignment, you know. So it's kind of saying, I don't know if you get my point, to say it's not more about, okay, fine, what can I heal? What can I heal? What can I heal? It's about, what do I desire to create? You know, what do I want? If at all you want more money, if you want a relationship, if you want better health and all that, you go for it. And when you go for it, whatever that is not in alignment with you receiving that is what shows up, what you get to deal with, whether it's a different layer that shows up, or however it shows up, or it's somebody triggering you, or it's maybe you wanting money and then you realize, you go to your bank account, you realize there's no money, or you see something that is so expensive, and when you look at it, it's kind of like, these people are cheating us, that charging us more, instead of you opening up and seeing yourself creating more of that, whatever that you see. If it's expensive, kind of like, I can afford this, and I'm open to afford this thing for myself, you know, I deserve it, and just get excited and imagine yourself having something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just what I wanted to clarify regarding the digging things out and creating. But regarding the letting go of the past, I don't know if you kind of like open to share what you like with the process that you go through, or you just comfortable with me sort of like sharing that, what is coming through for you. Like if you see something that is kind of
for
letting go of the past, when something comes through that you know is connected to maybe some experiences that you had in the past, what do you do?
When it's something which brings up unwanted negative emotions, or something that I don't want. Is that what you mean?
I wouldn't say that. I would say
Okay.
I wouldn't say something that you don't want or something that brings in negative emotions. It's kind of like if something comes through that is not, you know where you are at, right? From past experiences, where it's kind of where you kind of like relate whatever that is happening. Where something, let me just say, something is not, it's either not happening for the first time, or it brings in some emotions which is related to something that happened in the past. You know, like I said, I have this. I mentioned an issue with the children, which is like, for me, when it comes to children, separation with my children and all that, there's kind of like a lot that I get to go through when it comes to children, which more again at the same time, it also brings me to me. You understand? As much as it's the path that I don't like walking,
Yeah.
it's for the path that is opening myself to more. You know, I'll just give you an example when I talk about the relationship with my children, which is it's a big journey in the sense that in many ways I see, and then this happens mostly at times when there is a lot of ancestral stuff as well, or generational stuff to deal with. Because for me, when I look at my life, I was talking to someone, I don't know if it was 3 weeks ago, where I kind of like saw the same trend, where the girl was a child, and then she lost the father, and she stayed with a single mother, and then the mother passed on, and then she got she got married, and 5 6, I don't know, maybe 6 8 years into the marriage, she's also still young, and then the husband dies. Now she's left with a child, single child, and I bet it's the same thing that happened with the grandmother as well. You see where it's kind of like the same thing happening, and it's the same thing that you don't want to deal with, where you kind of like I'm talking about this lady who she gets to see herself through her child, through her child's ears, eyes right now, where the little girl in her that lost a father back then is now the woman, but it's kind of like she gets to experience at the same time the pain that her mother went through. So you understand, like through her child, she sees herself as a little girl, and as her right now as an adult, she's kind of like stepping into that space and wearing those shoes that her mom was wearing when her mother lost her father and she was a little girl. You know the whole thing that goes back and forth. And I see the same pattern with me as well, where most of the times when something that is kind of like bringing a lot out of me comes through, I see the same pattern where either through my children, I get to see myself as a little girl. And at the same time, I get to be in my mom's position where I get to know what she was going through. And it's rich, but it's sort of like opens your heart fully open. And it also calls you to really be sure with the decision that you make, kind of like, am I going to repeat the same thing, or I'm willing to choose a different thing because I want to bring this thing into conclusion. I want to bring this whole whatever that has been going on into completion. So that's what I'm talking about when I say something that, so you can see some things are repeating, or maybe when something is happening, as much as there could be a trigger in the moment, sometimes when you go back, you might realize that this thing has been going on for a long time, or this is related to different experiences. But what you're just experiencing is something that triggers that.
I'm going to have to move because I'm not hearing you as well as I should do. And I think it's partly because my connection is not so good.
Oh, okay.
Move into another place.
All right. I'll just continue here as well to say, if you are watching this
very well.
If you are watching this and there is
better.
If you are watching this and there is something that is coming through for you, as a, like, you'd like to share the process that you go through when you're going through some past stuff, whether it's past emotions, where something is happening, it triggers a lot of things that you dealt with. If you feel called, you can just share. And while we're still waiting for Christina to jump in, which is one of the things that I normally encourage people, and it's also one of the things that at times, like I said, in the past 2-3 days, there is a part of me that didn't want to feel. I just wanted to sort of it's not like I wanted to ignore, but I didn't want to pay attention to that. And which is also one of the things we get to be, if we get to be really if you get to be really open with ourselves, we get to be aware to say, am I, even for instance, something is happening, kind of like jump into an affirmation, or you just ignore whatever that is just happening. You should, I just call you to be present, to say, are you allowing yourself to feel, or you just kind of like finding a way to avoid whatever that is going on, whatever that is happening? Because when you allow yourself to feel, it's easier for you to release whatever that is there. You don't allow it to sit there and then ends up turning into pain and all that. So the more you just open your heart and allow yourself to feel, which is at times it could just be a breath, at times it could be playing a song that really connects with your heart, and it's not even to say that it's only one song. It could be it's quite interesting, because one other thing that did it for me this time, it was just playing classical music, and one or the other, it just opened a deep part of me, And journaling is also one thing that is really, 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 really powerful. And that's what I want to talk about when I say the process and the rituals that you go through, which is, this is why I have this plain paper here to say it's also important at times to just make that intention and take a plain paper and start writing, you know. If at all it's a part of you that feels like it's a victim, it's rejected and all that, say take some time and talk to that, and talk to that rejection, you know. Take some time and talk to that rejection and see what this rejection want to say to you. And yeah, and let it go, let it go. And at times you might get more things that come through or get to the core of it, but it's not for you. I'm not encouraging that you should go dig on things, because that's how we get stuck in the whole thing of what is happening, where does it come from, rather than making space to, so I'm willing to release you. Because at times, even when you take a paper and start writing without overthinking it, just allowing yourself to write whatever that is that you're feeling, at times, even just by starting to write, you'll find yourself just crying because you're just allowing to let go. And one other thing that I love, as you can see here, I have this tobacco here, you know. I just love to use it when I'm doing a ritual where I kind of like write what I write and put the tobacco. At times I put the snuff as well. At times I put the oil. I'll just show you this. I don't know if you can read this. Mother Africa palm oil. You know, I just love to use this oil as well when I'm doing a ritual, and I'm just calling in my ancestors, you know, and also the grandfathers and grandmothers, giving them the tobacco. You do what you do, whether before you burn the paper, you can either put it on the paper and burn it with the tobacco, or you can just give it to Mother Earth. You know, it's kind of like inviting that fire element, you know, and just with an intention that as you just burning it, you're also calling forth your ancestors and also inviting them to just burn and let go of things that they're still holding into whatever that happened. You know, just going to the core of the issue to say you're willing to release it, you know, because at times we just because something is there, it doesn't mean that it's something that we have to carry and continue feeding ourselves from, or continue creating the same thing that our parents and great parents created their life from, you know. So it's important for, I find rituals very important. There is just like that power that happens when you bring in a ritual, because it's kind of like bringing in the something into completion. And like I also said, one thing that kept coming with sometimes an aspect of us that is dying. You can either burn whatever that you burn, and after burning it, gather the ash and go somewhere and just open a hole and just put the ash inside and bury all of that and send it to Mother Earth, which is a very symbolic thing of saying that I'm really releasing this, you know. And you letting that aspect of yours to just rest and let go of whatever as you are integrating all of that, you know. I find rituals very, 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 very important and very powerful. There is something that you just feel as you just going through it. So that's what I wanted to share with you about letting go of the past, to say sometimes even when things are ancestral and all that, when you make a ritual and just invite them and just tell them, I'm not willing to go ahead with the separation consciousness, which is suffering, lack, and all that, you know. So when you just let go of all of that and bring that into completion, and you call forth what you want, which is the reason that you are allowing whatever that you're feeling and releasing it, and you still go ahead and create what you want. You can also afterwards maybe find a different paper or just go into a journal book and start writing down what you really want to create. Yeah. Yes, my darling. It's a very powerful thing, because even when you're doing it, I've done this so many times, and there is so much connection that I personally feel when I'm doing it. And like you say, it's so physical, it's so symbolic, like all your aspects kind of like get it to say that I am done. I'm done with this life. I'm done with creating from this. I'm done recreating this kind of whatever that is, you know, and really now anchoring into the new and being ready to create whatever that you desire. So that's what I wanted to really share with you today. If you feel called and there is something deep that you're going through, I would invite you to just go ahead and try this and let me know how it's going. This is the tobacco that you can also buy. I use this a lot too, you know. So if you're called to do that, just try that and let me know what came through for you, how you felt. Yeah, so I would say that's it for this today's Feminine Intention Circle, and I hope lots of you will join us in the future. Christine, I am so grateful of your time. Let me just see. So before we just go, I'll just invite you to just anchor in your womb space, you know, and you can just put your hands in there and just I'll just call in divine light consciousness just to clear and release whatever that came through, or whatever that has been brought into your mind, into your consciousness when you're talking about letting go of the past. Whatever that you have been holding into that doesn't serve your highest and greatest good. So invite your body, your heart, your mind, your emotions, your inner child to just release all those imprints and just let go. Those habits, beliefs, patterns, anything and everything that you're still holding into, and we invite your ancestors as well to release all the separation consciousness agreements, all the vows, contracts, hexes and curses that doesn't serve your highest and greatest good. Just invite you to take a deep breath as you imagine divine light consciousness, just this beautiful light coming through your crown and just going through your third eye, clearing all the thoughts that are not in alignment with you. Being light, being incarnate through divine wholeness, and every single cell of your body is just lighting up, just releasing all the past experiences, past pains, past emotions, all the feeling that you are a victim, you don't belong, the fears that you're still holding into. We call for the core fear matrix removal program to remove all the fears that doesn't serve your highest and greatest good. Anything and everything that is stopping you from really living the life that you desire, from creating what is in for your highest good. Just allow your body to receive this energy, clearing all that you're holding into, and inviting your ancestors as well to let go. And you can imagine that you are sitting somewhere just in nature. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's so green out there, but the space that you're sitting in, there is a bonfire just in between, and your ancestors are just around, and you are in the center. And whatever that you're willing to let go of, all the pain that you've been holding into, you're just putting it into the fire, and you invite your ancestors as well to let go. And you're sending it into this fire, releasing it, and you invite your team to let go, ancestors to let go, all aspects of yours throughout all space-time continuum in all dimension. Just taking a deep breath as you just watch this fire, just also celebrating it, is receiving this. Just let go. Release, integrate, clear, and harmonize. Just letting go. If there's any baggage that you're still carrying on that does not even belong to you, just let go. Put it in this fire and command all aspects that do not belong to you and all aspects not in your highest good to be sent to the light now. Imagine. Just have a look around and see the support and see the ancestral lineage that have just shown up to just honor as they just also thank and celebrate you for taking an opportunity to help them release of the baggages that they've been holding into. All generational curses, generational conflicts, just letting go. And know that you are worthy of creating anew. And every single cell in your body is just lighting up. Just take a deep breath as you receive this healing. And you're just anchoring in it. And we invite Divine Mother Earth to also just come and give you a hug. And as she's giving you a hug, she's just taking everything. We invite your higher self as well to just help you to release everything beyond what you think you need to release. Anything and everything that is not in your highest and greatest good. Just let go. Feel the energy in your head. I bet you can hear that, you can feel that. Different areas of your body is just opening up, releasing. Just take a deep breath and feel the chair that you're sitting in. Just feel this support. Come back to the present here and now and know that you are loved and supported. And we command this healing to continue as long as it is needed. All right. You let me know what came through for you, what you felt. And if you want to go ahead and make this, as in like really go ahead and write, pen it, please go ahead and do that. If you don't, then still it's fine. The fire that was burning, whatever that you just put in the fire, it's burnt, it's released. Trust and know that it is so. Much love.